नमस्कार, आईएएस भारत में आपका स्वागत है। हमारे फ्री क्रैश कोर्स को ज्वाइन करने के लिए गूगल फॉर्म को फिल करें जो कि नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिया गया है। धन्यवाद।
Hello all, welcome to IAS Bharat, an initiative of Aram IAS. You all know that Aram IAS has been guiding aspirant for a long time, and presently in Chennai, it is teaching and guiding more than 3,000 students. This initiative of Aram IAS as IAS Bharat as an online platform, and now whatever things are being brought in YouTube channel for mains crash course, that is what looks into the exam perspective. Myself, Neeraj Nachiketa, Faculty of Science and Technology, I am bringing those topics for discussion where coming exam GS3 paper question can come on those topics. Today's session is very, very important. Please keep on going till the end. I am going to bring out number of important aspects of current science and technology for the coming exam. First thing which comes here from space technology. In my previous sessions in science and technology, I have already covered about Bharati Antariksh Station, right? Vikram-1 rocket launch and the other type of topics I have already covered. But today, certain more areas of space technology which can be asked in the coming exam, let me discuss that. The first one is you all are aware that UPSC in the prelims exam has asked about gravitational wave. Already 2 times question has been asked based on the current aspect. And there a very important name comes LIGO or LIGO. So now what is making headline? That is the India LIGO project. LIGO stands for laser interference. There's an instrument called interferometer. So laser based interferometer, laser interference, gravitational wave observatory. The concept of gravitational wave comes from general theory of relativity given by Albert Einstein. When there is a rapid change in space-time fabric, the continuum, it generates energy in the form of wave, what we call as a gravity wave. Now this prediction under the theory given by Albert Einstein was more than 100 years ago. But then LIGO experiment successfully detected this gravitational wave, right? Just like chirping in the universe, it was detected, and scientists part of this outstanding mega project got the Nobel Prize also there. So we will discuss today about Indian LIGO project. Now after successful result of the LIGO experiment in US, now India went to create Indian observatories similar to what US LIGO was there to carry out research into gravitational wave. So the site which has been selected, that is in Maharashtra. There is a place called Hingoli. There is part of it. So I will go through its important facts which you need to remember it. So first thing is that LIGO India project approved by the central government, right? What are the basic things which you need to remember it? So first thing is that objective. Whenever you write answer in the main exam, objective becomes very important. So detect gravitational wave, right, from cosmic events. Then another thing is that this project will boost India's research in the field of astrophysics and astronomy. So another thing is that expand global gravitational wave network also there. Worldwide there are such kind of observatories which are working to detect gravitational wave. Even European countries, ESA, they have built space-based observatory, what is called LISA. And there is a proposal for ELISA, evolved LISA, to capture gravitational wave in the outer space. So India's LIGO, what is called Indian LIGO or INDIGO, Indian Gravitational Wave Observatory, will be the part of the global network of such gravitational wave observatory, right? So that's what comes here. Key components, it will be again the same as US one. If you look at the US one, I'll draw a diagram there. The US LIGO was L shape, 10 kilometer, right? 10 kilometers length and the width, the perpendicular. This was 10 kilometers distance. This pipeline tube which were built, right? In case of India's LIGO experiment, we will keep 4 kilometers distance of L-shaped perpendicular tunnel, or there will be a vacuum tube through which laser light will be passed. And then at the end of the tunnel, there is very powerful mirrors which will reflect the laser beam of light. So let's say this beam of light which goes travel to the end will bounce back. It will come back, right? Similarly, the other end of the tunnel where the laser light will go there, they will again bounce back. And there will be a detector. In this point, there will be a detector which will be able to detect minutest signal. So detector will be there. Now, what is the idea here? Gravitational wave generated through change in space-time. Suppose if the gravitational wave is coming from the space, so that will result changes in the space-time continuum fabric. So what will happen? The length will change. The path length of the laser light will change. What I would like to say here, this change will be at atomic scale, not at the real world example change. We cannot detect or observe through naked eyes. This particular change in the path length will be in the atomic scale, which is in angstrom. And such powerful detector will be able to measure such kind of change. So suppose when the gravitational wave arrive, then there is change, what is something called contraction and expansion of space in the atomic scale. So that will generate a difference, what is something called interference, right? That is a superposition of wave. So it will be able to generate the signal which will be caught by the detector. This way back in 2016, the LIGO experiment was able to capture this gravitational wave coming from collapse of two black holes. You all know black hole, right, as a kind of a cosmic object with super strong gravity, right? It churned the space, and two black holes collapsing each other will make the kind of change in the space fabric that will result into wave. So that was the discovery. But now in Indian LIGO, we are going to build a similar type of setup there. So, but that will be 4 kilometers, right? 4 kilometers L-shaped arms will be there, vacuum tube, laser source will be there, then beam splitter which will split the beam into two parts, to create the phase. Mirrors will be there, photo detector and controller data acquisition will be done there. Similar to American LIGO experiment. Working principle, I have explained that, how it works, I have just explained there. Now coming to collaboration implementation. Now this project, India's LIGO, will be 4 kilometers, right? So key facts which you have to know about this project. The first thing is that we will have 4 kilometers L-shape vacuum tube, right, with the laser source and all things will be do that, and the mechanism I have already explained. Second thing is that is a collaboration between DAE, Department of Atomic Energy, right? Department of Atomic Energy, DAE, which deals with nuclear science and technology. Now even the field of astrophysics and part of astronomy, there again the nuclear science comes into that. When we talk about atomic phenomena, nuclear science. So DAE, and then DST, Department of Science and Technology. So here, if you see the collaboration that is between the DAE, DST, then US LIGO, that was the nodal parental organization was MIT and Caltech, California Institute of Technology, and MIT. So that will be the part of here. So science engineering institutes will be also part of it. So here DAE, then Department of Science and Technology, right? Then comes here Caltech, MIT, that is joint program, and there will be various scientific organization part of the project. Various scientific program, scientific organization which are working in this area, and the scientists will be the part of the project there. Right? They will be working with that. So when you write answer, suppose you get the question about gravitational wave this year. So there, when you're writing about American LIGO, so you can also go for the Indian LIGO as an example you can give. So it's not necessary that you might get direct question on Indian LIGO, but in case Indian LIGO is asked, then you can specifically write about that. But in that context also you have to give the global example. But if let's say global based question comes, then you have to give examples from India's perspective also there. Now I'll be writing one more name of organization which is in Pune called IUCA. One nodal scientific organization in the field of astronomy, that is called Inter-University Center for Astrophysics and Astronomy. So scientists from this part will also part, if they are part of this project there. And where we are constructing there? So the site here is Hingoli. That is in Maharashtra. Objective, I have already said that the objective is to study about, find out such kind of gravitational wave and be the part of the global network. So that will boost our research in this domain part of it. So one area which I have highlighted here. So importance, like India's position in the science and technology, and what we are leading to that one, right? So expected outcome is that detection of gravitational wave from black holes, even primordial gravitational wave, which is linked with Big Bang, right? Origin of universe. So that again the scientists will try to explore, look into those kind of areas. So and also test general theory of relativity as what Albert Einstein has given. So these are the main purpose of the project. Let's say when a question comes in mains exam, okay, what is a gravitational wave? What is the significance of India's LIGO project? Then you can specify and mention that. So this is one area which I have started from space technology, right? Which I have discussed right now. So this is where I have gone into that. Now I'm coming to another very important part which you could expect question this year. Aditya-L1. L1 mission, right? What we call as a Chandrayaan. Chandrayaan. See, India is going for many such big space missions. ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, is already planned for Chandrayaan 4, where we will return back with the lunar sample. There's a very important mission will be of study of moon. Second very big project, that is Mangalyaan 2, Mars lander mission. Just like we have landed on the south pole of the moon in Chandrayaan 3 mission, now India is planning to land a lander rover on red planet Mars. So first mission was MOM, Mars Orbiter mission. But now we are going for MLM, Mars landing mission. Third very important thing is Gaganyaan, human space flight, right? Where Indian astronauts will go to the low Earth orbit, stay there and come back. Fourth very important thing is that building our own space station, Bharatiya Antariksh Station, BAS, by 2035. So there are multiple such projects are there. But ongoing mission, if you look at, this becomes very important, Aditya, Chandrayaan mission. Let us go to certain things, right? You might get 150 words question in the exam. So Chandrayaan here, so first thing you know that ISRO's mission to study sun, right? The star of the solar system. That's why it is named Chandrayaan. Now, I'll come to other part, but what is very important here? L1, Lagrange point 1, L1. So, this is spacecraft, right? Placed in a halo orbit. What is something very important? Halo orbit, which is a three-dimensional orbit around Lagrange point 1. Now, what is Lagrangian point? There are 5 Lagrange points with respect to two celestial bodies. Two bodies where 5 Lagrange points are there. And these points move with the movement of the celestial object, and any third object placed around these 5 points experience net forces of gravitational force of two celestial bodies plus centrifugal forces. So there's something called balancing force which result into equilibrium, stable equilibrium and unstable equilibrium. Now this you would have covered during your preparation for your prelims exam and wherever you have done the classroom program or your self-study, right? So Lagrangian point here is where the gravitational force by two bodies balance the centrifugal force acting on the third body. So here it remains in a equilibrium position. Now what is very important, if we take sun and the earth, right, then L1 point is located at 1.5 million kilometers, or you can say 15 lakh kilometers away from earth, right? Now when you're writing the exam, you can draw a diagram, right? Just you can sketch it that this is sun, this is our earth, right? Earth goes around the sun, revolution path. Now when we join sun and the earth together, so the L1 point is here, right? 1.5 million kilometers away from earth, so between sun and the earth. Equidistance, we have L2 point at the back side of the earth. Now this is the point where we can have very good deep universe or deep space study. NASA has already placed JWST, James Webb Space Telescope, at this point of Lagrange point 2. Then L3 is here, backside of the sun. L4 and L5, right, they are ahead and behind, and they make an equilateral triangle with sun and the earth with 60-degree angle, right? So that any object which is there, it will always remain fixed or in equilibrium to that particular point here. So now when we talk about L1, so as I said, here you have a kind of halo orbit, a three-dimensional orbit, right? And this three-dimensional orbit is a very complex orbit, right, going around L1 point where a spacecraft moves. So here we can place the spacecraft, right? It can have continuous observation of the sun and collect all the data and send it back to the earth. So this is how in the answer, when you write answer, you can draw just a rough sketch, right, depicting there. And as I said, this distance is 1.5 million kilometers or 15 lakh kilometers away from the earth, right? Now further if you look at here, what are all facts you need to remember that. So next thing is that what is objective, right? So there are 7 payloads, the instruments which are on board Aditya spacecraft to study sun, right? Like one of the very important instruments is PAPA, Plasma Analyzer Package for Aditya. Then VLC, right? Then Solex. Then there is a magnetometer. So you all know that sun, if you look at sun there, our star there, you know that the main source of energy is nuclear fusion, hydrogen based nuclear fusion which generates helium there. So sun has a core, then outer core there is the atmosphere, right? The outermost is called corona. Coronosphere is there. And you all know that corona, right, generates powerful waves, right? What we call as a solar flare or solar storm, or what is also called as in a technical language, coronal mass ejection, CME. So here, sun which generates powerful waves, or you can say solar wind with particles, electromagnetic waves, that goes towards the solar system, and when it reaches to the earth, right? Already in UPSC prelims exam, question has been asked about what are the impact of such solar winds, right? With the options 7, 8 options given there. Now here, if you look at temperature of corona, another very important thing is temperature of corona. That is a millions and millions of degrees centigrade. But there is another very interesting thing about sun, the photo disk or photosphere which is inside. That is cooler. So the purpose or objective of Chandrayaan Aditya-L1 mission is that to explore such kind of scientific aspect of the sun. Now what do you see here? Photosphere has a temperature of somewhere around 6000 degree Kelvin, whereas the corona has got millions of degrees Celsius. So now what I'm bringing here, see, if you understand something, then you don't have to memorize, right? मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर आप चीज़ों को समझ जाते हैं तो आपको फैक्ट्स को याद करना आसान है. It's not difficult. It's much simpler to remember the facts. So if you know, now see here, so what is first thing here? The first very important thing is that to study this objective, outer corona. And what I mentioned there, coronal mass ejection, CME. What do you say? Solar wind or solar flare, right? Second thing is what? Second thing is that the temperature difference. Why sun's outer corona has higher temperature, whereas the inner photosphere has got much lower temperature of 6000 degree Kelvin. To study temperature difference between the outer corona, you know, it should be other way around, right? It should be other way around. Inner photosphere, it should be other way around, right? That since sun being a star, the source of energy is nuclear fusion. So core is very, very hot. Photosphere is more near to the core. The photosphere temperature should be higher. And corona or chronosphere is the outermost atmosphere part of the sun, which is very, very far away from the core. Should be cooler. But what you find in sun, it's just the opposite. That outer part is a very hot, corona is very, very high temperature, and inner photosphere has a lower temperature. So this mystery we are trying to understand through Aditya-L1 mission here. Another very important thing is that space weather, right? How space weather get influenced by the sun. So third thing which comes here, that is in terms of space weather. जब भी आप आंसर लिखते हैं कोई भी मिशन हो, अगर डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन भी आता है तो आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव्स तो बताना है मिशन का, और कैसे क्या फैक्ट है क्या चीज़, वो सारी चीज़ करना। मैं और कुछ फैक्ट्स बताऊंगा अभी। तो व्हाट इज अनदर थिंग यहाँ पर, टू स्टडी स्पेस वेदर। देन देयर इज अ मैग्नेटोमीटर, सो मैग्नेटोस्फेयर ऑफ सन, सन का जो मैग्नेटोस्फेयर है उसको स्टडी करना, उसके बारे में जानकारी इकट्ठा करना, दैट इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ इट, है ना। तो ये सारे चीज़ों को 7 इंस्ट्रूमेंट से किए जा रहे हैं। नाउ लेट्स लुक एट हियर, एंड इंडिया बिकम्स द थर्ड कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड। कई बार ये फैक्ट भी याद रखना, वी बिकम द थर्ड कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड आफ्टर यूएस एंड यूरोपियन स्पेस एजेंसी, दैट नासा एंड ईएसए, टू यूज L1 पॉइंट फॉर स्टडी ऑफ सन। तो ये फैक्ट को याद रखना है। नाउ लेट्स कम टू दिस वन। If we come to this one, so gravitational wave, I have already covered that. So in this PDF of IS Bharat, we have given in the Q&A format. In the session, I'm highlighting the topic and giving some kind of pointers, but it is there in the part of Q&A program here. So now let's look at here. Suppose you get a question like this. Examine the scientific objectives of the Aditya-L1 mission. How can the mission improve understanding of solar activities and their impact on Earth? So introduction. In introduction, you can write India's first dedicated solar observatory, right? Mission launched by ISRO. Where which year? 2023, right? And placed in halo orbit, which I mentioned that in January 2024, Aditya reach the halo orbit around L1 point. Position at this one, right? Then when it comes to the other part here, so this I have already explained with the diagram, right? What you can see here, right? Same diagram you can have this one. Now see here, scientific objective. What I explained here, studying the solar corona. Example, VELC, visible emission line chronograph. Now in the exam you should remember the name of the instrument. आपको परीक्षा में जब आप आंसर लिखते हैं तो आपको कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट इंस्ट्रूमेंट के नाम याद होना चाहिए। अगर आप उसको मेंशन करते हैं तो आपको कुछ एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स मिल सकता है। तो यहाँ पर ये VELC के बारे में, अंडरस्टैंडिंग कोरोनल मास इजेक्शन CME है, तो उसके लिए मैसिव जो प्लाज्मा है, आदित्य L1 मॉनिटर CMEs दैट कैन ट्रिगर और ये क्या है, दैट ट्रिगर जियोमैग्नेटिक स्टॉर्म्स, राइट, on earth. और आपको पता है कि when this waves, when this wave, powerful waves reaches earth, so it has impact on the communication satellite, GPS satellites, right? Earth's geomagnetism, right? So this impact on earth, because earth, we all know that there so many satellites are there for various applications. They're into different type of orbit, and let's say when this solar flare or solar winds will come, so that is going to disrupt, right? This is a coronal mass ejection, solar wind. So here, disruption of satellite, right? Spacecrafts that get disrupted, right? That get disrupted there, and you know that if the communication satellite get affected, right, navigation satellites get affected, that impact will be there. Then you know that northern lights, southern lights, aurora borealis, aurora australis, that get formed, ionosphere that flare up, geomagnetism effect, right, geomagnetic storm which affect our atmosphere, and even that can affect grid, right? Electricity generation and distribution network, we have a grid system. The grids can be affected. Aeroplane which fly in the atmosphere, they can be affected. Astronauts who are in the International Space Station, ISS, if they get exposure, they can be affected, right? So the health impact on humans, that is a part of that. So this becomes very important here, right? Investigating solar wind dynamics. So we have an instrument called SpaDeX, So their payload measures the solar wind particles and their property. Studying solar magnetic field. For that, there is a magnetometer, magnetic process there. SOLEX payload. Understanding solar radiation, monitor variation, solar energy and high energy emissions there, right? All this we have given in the PDF here, right? We have another payload called SUIT. Then advancing fundamental solar physics, that part. Then example Aditya-L1 carries 7 instruments. So that part is there, right? If the question comes, how the Aditya mission improves understanding of solar activities and their impact on Earth, so we can mention that it can, if we can have this one, we can have early warning, we can forecast, because in a period of 10 to 11 years, this solar wind comes and sun emit powerful such kind of a coronal mass ejection, CME. So our Aditya-L1 will be able to detect prior and can give us the forecast and warning, so that we are prepared. So you can see that this will improve prediction of solar storms and geomagnetic disturbances. For example, 1989 Quebec blackout was caused by powerful geomagnetic storm that affect the grid, right? Then protecting satellite infrastructure. Now Starlink, you know, the Elon Musk SpaceX Starlink, high-speed internet broadband. They're in the low Earth orbit, so that can be dozens of satellites were affected in 2022 because of such a geomagnetic storm. Then safeguarding communication navigation satellite. So example, Halloween solar storms 2003 disrupted GPS and radio communication globally. Then supporting human space flight, as I said, let's say those astronauts going to the space. So they're part of that, provide data crucial for that. Gaganyaan mission we are planning. And we need to have the data about solar wind, so that those astronauts who are flying to the low Earth orbit, and they will stay in that crew module. So they may be at risk of such kind of geomagnetic storm and coronal mass ejection. That can be part of it. Strengthening climate and atmospheric research. Even those solar winds effect on the Earth's atmosphere and the climate, that investigation Aditya is doing there. That part comes there. NASA has already a mission ongoing called SOHO, Solar Heliospheric Observatory there, advancing India's space science capabilities, right? Always remember that this is where you have the things part of that, right? So we have discussed that privatization part I have already covered, right? That part we have already gone into that. In space, Agnikul and all this, I have already covered that, right? So space technology, these two topics are really very, very important here, right? We have gone into that. They are really very, very important for the examination. So now what I am coming here, let me come to the part of another thing which I wanted to cover from the space technology. That is a, LUPEX. That is we are planning for such kind of mission to study moon. Now, moon missions, NASA has got Artemis mission. Recently, NASA successfully carried out Artemis mission. After Apollo mission of NASA, when landing of man on moon, you know that, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin. Now again, the US interest to go back to the moon and have a human mission to the moon. And even the long-term plan to build a base station, a research station on the moon. Right? Even China, Chang'e mission, where China is also has landed on the moon, and China also is going for building a space kind of a place, kind of a habitat on the moon. So a lot of things are happening in lunar mission. So that becomes another thing here. And now JAXA is also having the lunar mission part of it. So now look at here, a very important topic which I would like to add here, that is a global race for lunar mission. Right? This global kind of race. As I said here, that ISRO, India's Chandrayaan mission. So we have already covered Chandrayaan 1. We have done Chandrayaan 1, 2 and 3. So now we are going for Chandrayaan 4. which is going to be not only landing on the moon. Chandrayaan 3, we had gone to dark side of the moon, south pole of the moon. So not only the landing, but also lunar sample return mission there. For the LUPEX, that is a joint mission of ISRO with JAXA, that is Japan. JAXA. Lunar polar exploration, that is a lunar polar exploration. Right. Apart from that, Chinese aeronautical science, that China has gone with number of Chang'e mission. Right, Russia has a Luna mission there. But now, NASA has come up with Artemis mission. And even India has signed Artemis Accord with NASA there. Even we have a long-term mission after Gaganyaan and building space station. India will also take Indian astronaut to moon. And also we've also planned for building a kind of a base station on the moon. So all these are under progress there. So Artemis comes in. So let's say if we get a question like this in the main exam, the renewed global race to the moon is driven not only by scientific curiosity, but also by strategic and economic interest. Analyzed in the context of recent lunar missions by the US, China, India and Russia. है ना, ऐसा क्वेश्चन आ सकता है एग्जाम में. तो जब आप आंसर लिख रहे होंगे इंट्रोडक्शन में, तो इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या लिखना है कि मून हैज बिकम अ फोकल पॉइंट अगेन आफ्टर कोल्ड वॉर एरा. During the Cold War time, US and Soviet Union, USSR, they were competing each other with the lunar mission. As I mentioned, Apollo mission and all this, and Russia had earlier Luna mission. So now, today, we are in 2026. So post 2020, again renewed interest has started. So that is what comes into that. Contemporary lunar race combines scientific exploration, resource utilization, technological leadership, national security and geopolitical influence. So between 2019 and 2025, major powers including US, China, India, Russia has gone for that. Now what are the scientific curiosity, scientific drivers for this so many lunar missions? So this point, then you can, in the body of the answer, you can write that. Understanding lunar evolution and solar system history. One of the prime objective of any lunar mission is that to understand the history of moon, how the moon has been formed, and connected with moon, even the formation of solar system. So here, the moon and the part of it there. Then what comes here? When you are writing answer here, you can mention that example Apollo mission samples have helped determine the moon's age, right, at about 4.5 billion years. Already has been estimated, but still other countries are also trying to get the sample and find out the age of the sample of moon. Then search for water ice. Another very important thing, why lunar missions are there? Because it is believed that moon has got water. Chandrayaan-1 mission of India, there was an instrument called MIP, Moon Impact Probe. When the Moon Impact Probe was dropped, then it detected the loss of water from surface of the moon, in the atmosphere of the moon. तो चंद्रमा में जल का पाना और उसकी खोज करना मानव के लिए रहने के लिए क्या होगा, लाभदायक हो सकता है. इवन ह्यूमन एग्जिस्टेंस और स्टेइंग इन मून विल बिकम पॉसिबल, है ना, सहायक हो सकता है. देन Chandrayaan-1, I have already mentioned, testing technologies for deep space exploration. कि those technology which we need to do for Mars or interplanetary missions, we can do the testing in the moon. That is what comes for Mars and beyond. Artemis mission of NASA is looking into that. Strategic and geopolitical interest. Another thing about moon, why this race for moon has also geopolitical angle. What is geopolitical angle here? Lunar presence is symbol of technological presence, power there. Right? Which country comes there? China. China became the third country to independently land and return samples of the moon. Right? So we have done the landing Chandrayaan 3. Now we want to bring the sample to the Earth. Then competition for leadership in space governance. Moon gives that kind of position. Example, Artemis Accords have been signed by more than 50 countries worldwide. So even it has an angle of international collaboration. Right? Then national security implication. Lunar technology often have strategic dual use application. Right? That can be done there. Then you can see that deep space communication, navigation, satellite system. Strategic importance for lunar south pole, because that is a hidden part of the moon and sunlight is not there. So dark side of the moon, polar side of the moon, south pole of the moon, water ice presence there in the crater of the moon. So that part is there. So our mission looks for that. Right? To prospect of lunar resource, like, even another thing, why we need this one, because another very important thing could be what? That moon has got many precious metals and minerals. So in future, moon mining can also be possible. That's what the interest on the moon has become so much important. Helium-3 deposits, right, on the moon are viewed as potential future fuel source, right? Then expansive space economy. NASA's commercial lunar payload service there, right? High technology industry can be supported through such kind of minerals and the resource there, right? SpaceX Starship program, right? Reusable launch vehicle technology and that part being worked on that. So major, lunar mission, Artemis program, right? The Artemis 1 and 2 has been successfully done, right? So this part comes into that, right? Human landing, Changi program, Changi 6 2024, returned the first ever samples from the moon's far side, right? So all this, when you're writing the answer, let's say when the question comes on that, global race for lunar mission, तो you can mention that, है ना? आप वहाँ पे मेंशन कर सकते हैं सारी चीज़ें। डिफेंस के टॉपिक को मैंने पिछले सेशन में कवर किया है, आई ऑलरेडी कवर्ड देयर। नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू कवर biotech and health, certain important topics here, which can be asked in the exam. Right. So let's look at here. Now, biotechnology and health. What are the important topics which you need to be prepared for this year exam? Biotech and health. One of the very important topic which I think probable topic which can be asked in UPSC Mains exam, that is India's own CAR-T cell therapy. CAR-T cell therapy. So let me just go for some kind of detailed discussion of CAR-T cell therapy. See, first time if you look at CAR-T cell therapy, it was developed by Novartis, Switzerland-based multinational pharma company, right, for the US patient. But now what India developed, more affordable and more efficient treatment of certain type of blood cancer caused because of genetic problem, genetic disorder. So first of all, you know that CAR-T cell, CAR stands for chimeric, A stands for antigen, R stands for receptor, and you all know T cell, T lymphocyte is a type of WBC, white blood cells, B lymphocyte, T lymphocyte. So a T cell here, that is a WBC, T lymphocyte, right? Now, what was in the news? That India's homegrown indigenous CAR T cell therapy. I'll come to the mechanism also. And you know the biotechnology questions asked every year in the exam. So, indigenous CAR T cell therapy developed by IIT Bombay and Tata, Memorial Cancer Hospital in Mumbai. Tata Memorial Cancer Hospital, Mumbai. So one is that what has made headline? When you write introduction, you have to write about something which you have read from the newspaper or current affair magazine material. So that you need to provide there. It's one of the very important thing, because our president, right, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, she went to IIT Bombay for inauguration of this CAR T cell therapy, where the governor of Maharashtra was also present. And it has a connection with me because I am IIT Bombay alumnus, and this therapy has been developed by Professor Rahul Purwar, whom I have met in IIT campus. Professor Rahul Purwar, and from my department, BS Center, there is a Center for Biotechnology and Biomedical Engineering, right? BSB Center, that's developed there. So, but it came into media everywhere. Now, what is very important? A startup company has been made, ImmunoAct, located in Navi Mumbai. And the CAR T cell therapy of India has been given the brand name NextCar19. NextCar19. This is the name given there, right? That is CAR T cell therapy. And for that, I have mentioned that ImmunoAct, this company, where Dr. Rahul Purwar is one of the founder, along with his PhD student, right? That you don't have to write in the mains exam, but I'm just giving the idea here. Now, what is here? Very important thing is that what is a CAR T cell therapy? Where we use this? What is the need of this one? So CAR T cell therapy, successfully treats. I'm now writing the name of the disease. It's called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Now, this is a genetic disorder which causes a blood cancer. They result into blood cancer, leukemia. Right? Which is caused there, leukemia. So, blood cancer here. Now, the person suffer with blood cancer, leukemia, which is caused because of bone marrow problem and the production of WBC. So, as the person grow, right, develop this disorder. And India has such patients, and they are what? Rare kind of diseases, right? Orphan. The government doesn't give so much of kind of budget or kind of attention to such kind of a disorder. But there are people who suffer with this kind of problem. So there's a NextCar19 can be a kind of a lifesaver for such patients. So here, this blood cancer, here in this context, right? So what happens here is that, what they do is that they take out the blood of the patient in the lab, then genetically modify CAR T cell of the patient blood to act as a weapon, and then it is sent back to the patient system body, and this T cell destroy the tumors and person recover from the cancer. This is the mechanism, right? So what is very important here in this context, that is basically a gene therapy. CAR T cell therapy is a gene therapy. You can say it's a kind of a gene therapy. It genetically modifies the T cell to act as a drug to kill tumor cell within the patient's system there. So gene therapy, which genetically modify. So briefly you have to, when you are writing answer, let's say suppose a CAR T cell therapy question comes, and when you're writing the answer, you have to briefly mention the mechanism. So here we genetically modify T cells of a patient, right, which is important immune function, which act as a drug or weapon to destroy tumors. Just briefly, if you are able to mention that, that is sufficient, that you will get marks for that. Tumor cells. First time it has been tried in India with a retired army personnel, Dr. V.K. Gupta, and it's been very successful. So what I'm saying, that certain facts you can mention there, and it's affordable, right? Indigenous and affordable system has been developed. Therapy for Indian patient. Right? Clear? And when you're writing the answer, introduction, body, conclusion, you are also trying to provide all the important points. आप जब मेंस में लिखते हो तो वहाँ आपने करंट के बेस में कुछ इंट्रोडक्शन किया, बॉडी में ये सारी बातें आनी चाहिए, और फिर आप कंक्लूड कर सकते हो वे फॉरवर्ड कंक्लूजन दैट दिस थेरेपी कैन सेव लाइव्स ऑफ मेनी सच पीपल who suffer with this acute lymphoblastic leukemia, right? That part comes there. So now let's look at here. What I'm now coming here, right? In terms of biotechnology part. So in the same PDF which I'm now coming, many things of space and defense I have already covered, and there are other things which you have read in your in your preparation for prelims exam. So just revise there, right? Just revise and see all these things where you have read that you go through it there. And I've already said that those who want, we have 120 plus books, right, for people who are writing the exam this year. Even some topics like, you can read about dark matter, dark energy from astronomy part of it, right, for your preparation part. Nuclear technology, I have already mentioned that Bharat modular reactor, prototype fast breeder reactor, second stage of nuclear program. This I have already covered in my previous sessions. So if you have not seen that, please go back, right? So this is one you have. ठीक है, तो ये सारे चीज़ें जो मैंने डिस्कस किया है, वो सारे चीज़ों को आप एक बार पुराने जो वीडियोस हैं उसको आप रिव्यू कीजिए, और go in and whatever the you have a part, so there you can read that, right? Now I'm coming to the next thing, part biotechnology. Why do rare disease pose unique challenge to public healthcare system? Like I've mentioned that example of CAR T cell therapy, and that discuss India's response to this issue, right? Suppose you get a question in the mains exam. So here, what becomes very important here, rare diseases are life-threatening, right? They're life-threatening, but and also chronic, lifelong it goes there. So there's no universally accepted kind of a treatment therapy or kind of thing there, definition also. So there are more than 7,000 rare diseases worldwide, according to WHO. And 70 to 95 million Indians suffer with such kind of diseases, right? So you should write about rare diseases. Like I'll give you example, yellow fever, right? Then you know this, sometimes leptospirosis, right? Treponema, right? Yaws. These are some rare diseases. And most of these are parasitic form of disease, right? So India being a tropical country has this kind of thing. What is another thing about rare diseases? Limited availability of medicine, drugs. What is something called orphan. Most of the pharma companies, they develop medicines for those diseases which are more common, where the numbers are higher. But where there is rare, we don't come across proper medicine system or treatment therapy. So that's what it becomes very, very challenging to treat such kind of diseases, right, for people who suffer with this. So here, limited availability of drugs, inadequate research and development, even epidemiological study and R&D, which is very, very limited here. So therefore, long-term healthcare burden is there. So India's response, like say in this model answer, which I'm trying to provide you, that India's response. So India's response is national policy for rare diseases. 2021, Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has come out with this national policy for rare diseases. So that is what targeted intervention, 50 lakh rupees given to the patient for the kind of care. Institutional strengthening, centers of network excellence center have been set up there, right? We have also maintained a registry with database documenting such kind of diseases. Genome India project, ICMR, DBT, right? We already have a Genome India project where scientists are doing the DNA mapping, genome sequencing of such kind of rare diseases prevalent in India, right? With the funding from DBT, Department of Biotechnology, Central Government Department, and ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. Now, such kind of genome mapping of such rare diseases would also help in developing new medicine, new drugs and therapy. So that you can write in the answer, technology-led healthcare. Then Ayushman Bharat digital mission. Challenges, what are challenges? Limited coverage of diseases there, right? Inadequate funding, lack of genetic screening, infrastructure like lab or kind of thing for such kind of rare diseases. That you can mention there, right? So in a given question, when you're writing there, you can write about the limited awareness of the people. There are not much people who are aware of it. And then what comes here, very, very important. What comes very important is the way forward. Last, the conclusion. So genomic study and all those R&D from India's epidemiological point of view of rare diseases will definitely help develop some new kind of medicines or drugs or therapies to cure, to treat Indian patients suffering with such rare diseases. That could be your, and you can write there with the support of fund budget from the central government. तो आप वहाँ पर ये लिख सकते हो वे फॉरवर्ड में, सजेशन दे सकते हो, थेरेपी, R&D, ये सब जितना पार्ट है ना, तो उससे आपका आंसर क्या होगा, बेटर होगा. फिर मैंने CRISPR-Cas9 के बारे में बताया था. If you go to my previous videos, I have discussed about this gene editing tool, and I have mentioned that Sere Kashmir University in Jammu Kashmir, and even Pusa Rice, Pusa DST and Kamla, that part of given. So how question can be expected? What is CRISPR-Cas9 technology? Discuss its application in agriculture, healthcare. है ना, कृषि क्षेत्र में और स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्र में हम CRISPR-Cas9 को कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं? Application based kind of thing there. So here you can write about first, what is the first thing here? When you write about gene editing, so first you have to define it, or in the introduction write about CRISPR-Cas9. तो ये चीज है, clustered regularly interspace short palindromic repeats Cas9. 2020 Nobel Prize in Chemistry Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier, ये मैंने बताया था. And then how it works, you know that. Guide RNA, which guide the nucleus enzyme to bind with the part of the DNA sequence, and the nucleus act like a molecular scissor to cut the fragment of DNA. तो वो चीज़ को समझाना है वहाँ पर, ठीक है. टारगेट बाइंडिंग होता है, कटिंग होता है गाइड आरएनए के थ्रू जो है ना, और उसमें हम कई चीज़ों को बना सकते हैं. इज वेरी पावरफुल टूल, right? CRISPR-Cas9 is a very powerful tool. Specific cut can be made in the gene or the DNA, and that we can convert and get into such kind of targeted editing to treat the diseases in medical science, or develop some new type of crop varieties for agriculture. Like India is vulnerable to climate change impacts, so drought tolerant, flood tolerant, high yield varieties, pest resistance. What we generally use complex genetic engineering method, here we can do with the CRISPR-Cas9 easily, right? तो ये चीज़ को आप लिख सकते हो, ये सारे कहाँ इसके एग्रीकल्चर में इसका रोल हो सकता है, एप्लीकेशन पार्ट वो आप बता सकते हैं. तो यहाँ पर पेस्ट एंड डिजीज रेजिस्टेंस, राइट, फास्टर क्रॉप इंप्रूवमेंट, एंड यू कैन गिव एग्जांपल हेल्थ केयर में जेनेटिक डिसऑर्डर्स लाइक समटाइम्स कैंसर which can be caused by genetic disorder, so we can edit the gene, defective gene. Then such kind of genetic disorder like sickle cell anemia or hemophilia, there we can use as part of gene therapy, we can use the CRISPR-Cas9, right? Cancer therapy, CAR-T cell therapy जो मैंने बताया, वहाँ भी हम CRISPR-Cas9 को यूज़ करके एडिट कर सकते हैं. इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज मैनेजमेंट है ना, वहाँ का शेरलॉक. अब जैसे इसमें न्यूज़ में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट नाम है ये CRISPR based diagnostic platforms such as Sherlock and Detector, right? This were explored for rapid detection of COVID-19 during the time of corona pandemic and other viral infection. Then personalized medicine, personal medicine. A person suffering with a disease, that person can be cured, hemophilia or sickle cell anemia, with the CRISPR-Cas9 technology that comes here. Ethical concern, you can even a designer baby, like ethical concern with CRISPR-Cas9 designer baby. Like in China, scientist He Junkei, he designed 2 babies using CRISPR-Cas9 who will not get HIV infection, right? And that was done with the test tube babies. So he was sentenced to jail for 3 years for not taking the permission of the Chinese government. So ethical concern with CRISPR-Cas9 or in general ethical concern with biotechnology thing, right? You can always write that. Okay, what is the human safety? Let's say when we do the CRISPR-Cas9 genetic editing of human embryos, so what will be the side effect? What will be other kind of damage caused? What will be the long-term impact once the child is born? So that they become there. Even the GM crops, everything there. So 2018 gene edited babies, off-target mutation, CRISPR-Cas9, if there is other type of mutation, so that can create other type of severe disorders within human body. Then equity, accessibility. The equity part, see, from ethical point of view, that comes everywhere. आपको पता है कि समाज में 2 तरह की चीज़ें हैं, जिनके पास रिसोर्सेस हैं, जिनके पास नहीं है, हैव्स एंड हैव नॉट्स, है ना. ये चीज़ एथिकल एस्पेक्ट में आप कहीं भी लिख सकते हैं. एंड रिमेंबर दैट साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी क्वेश्चन लिंकिंग विद एथिक्स like AI, biotech, right? Any areas, robotics, all those things can be asked in a part of GS4 paper, ethics paper also there. Sometimes case study वहाँ पर दिया रहता है, AI पे पूछा गया, डेटा सेंटर पे पूछा गया है ना. इस पे भी CRISPR-Cas9 जैसे पावरफुल टेक्निक वहाँ पे भी उसके केस में आ सकता है. तो दैट बायोसेफ्टी का बात है, रेगुलेटरी. जैसे मान लीजिए प्लांट को, क्रॉप को एडिट करें, तो क्या उसका इम्पैक्ट होगा जब वो क्रॉप को हम नेचर में ग्रो करेंगे, एग्रीकल्चर लैंड में ग्रो करेंगे. तो वो पार्ट आता है रेगुलेटरी एथिकल गवर्नेंस देंगे. और फिर आता है वे फॉरवर्ड, कि वे फॉरवर्ड हमेशा याद रखना है. बायोटेक की बात हो, स्पेस की बात हो, कहीं भी बात करें, AI की बात करें, रोबोटिक्स बात करें, तो उसके लिए क्या होना चाहिए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है, रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क, रेगुलेशन, एक्ट, गाइडलाइन, रूल्स. So even for CRISPR-Cas9, that we need a robust regulatory framework, right? That is required there. जीनोम एडिटिंग के लिए जो है, तो वो सब आप वे फॉरवर्ड में बता सकते हो, सजेशन दे सकते हो आप. फिर क्या है, पब्लिक अवेयरनेस चाहिए. फिर क्या है, हम ह्यूमन पे CRISPR-Cas9 के यूज़ को हम बैन करें, लेकिन कुछ जगह पे जहां हम यूज कर सकते हैं कैंसर ट्रीटमेंट या कुछ ऐसे रेयर डिजीज के लिए, तो वहां गवर्नमेंट के अप्रूवल के साथ क्रिस्पर कैसनाइन का यूज हो सकता है, राइट। तो दैट बायोसेफ्टी चीज़ है कि हमें इन्वायरमेंट को भी ध्यान रखना बहुत जरूरी है। जब हम उसको रिलीज करेंगे तो उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट हमें जानना बहुत जरूरी है। उसके लिए हमें पहले क्या करना है, प्रायर टेस्टिंग करना है, टेस्टिंग लैब में है ना, फील्ड ट्रायल करना है, ठीक है, प्रमोट इक्विटेबल एक्सेस, एनकरेज एथिकल एंड पब्लिक एंगेजमेंट, ये सारा, एंड देन यू कैन कंक्लूड दैट कि क्रिस्पर कैसनाइन इज अ पावरफुल टेक्निक, इट हैज अ लॉट ऑफ बेनिफिट्स, although there are ethical concerns, but we cannot totally say no to CRISPR Cas9, ठीक है। तो कुछ ऐसे चीज़ों करके आप कंक्लूड कर सकते हो आंसर को, राइट। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है जो मैंने यहाँ पर डिस्कस किया। प्रिसीजन मेडिसिन पे क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, जिनोमिक्स के बारे में, बायोबैंक्स के बारे में, वहाँ एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है। जो आजकल बात हम कर रहे हैं सटीक मेडिसिन, द इवन नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी जो मैंने पिछले वीडियोस में कवर किए हैं कि टारगेटेड ड्रग डिलीवरी बाय यूजिंग नैनो मटेरियल्स, दिस ऑल आर पार्ट ऑफ प्रिसीजन मेडिसिन, राइट। पर्सनलाइज्ड मेडिसिन आल्सो देयर, ऑल दिस कम्स इनटू दैट। तो ये चीज़ है पूरा WHO के द्वारा, दैट पार्ट कैन बी मेंशन्ड देयर। नाउ लेट्स लुक एट दिस डायग्राम, है ना, प्रिसीजन मेडिसिन। मैं इसको समरी बता देता हूँ। तो बायोटेक में एक एरिया क्रिस्पर कैसनाइन का है ही वहाँ पर, जो मैंने बताया अभी, ठीक है। तो ये चीज़ जो है, दूसरा क्या हो सकता है क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में, प्रिसीजन मेडिसिन, these are all future based kind of thing there, right? So what is very important here, first thing is that precise, right, diagnosis, right, detection and treatment, which has to be precise. We should minimize the side effect, है ना। इसमें कई बार होता है जहां हम यूज कर सकते हैं AI को, ठीक है, जहां हम प्रिडिक्टिव कर सकते हैं, प्रिडिक्शन कर सकते हैं, रोबोटिक्स, राइट। तो इसमें अगर हम देखें तो ड्रग डिलीवरी, टारगेटेड ड्रग डिलीवरी फॉर ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ कैंसर, जहां पर नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी का हम यूज कर सकते हैं, राइट। देन यू नो रोबोटिक सर्जरी, रोबोटिक को हम यूज कर सकते हैं, ट्रेंड सर्जन, है ना, पार्ट ऑफ प्रिसीजन थिंग। ऐसे मेडिसिन, ऐसे दवाई जो कि एग्जैक्ट जो है वो सेल पे जाके काम करे और डिजीज को ट्रीट करे, वो हो सकता है, ठीक है। तो ये सारी चीज रोबोटिक सर्जरी है, राइट। मेडिसिन, है ना, पर्सनलाइज्ड टू एन इंडिविजुअल टू ट्रीट disease, and that can be done with the help of, that can be done based on the genome analysis of the person, है ना। अगर हमें पता चल जाए कि कोई व्यक्ति का क्या जेनेटिक एस्पेक्ट है, मेकअप है, और कहाँ क्या उसके प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकते हैं, उसका जेनेटिक मीन्स क्या है, मोलिकुलर एस्पेक्ट क्या है, हम उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही उसके मेडिसिन या थेरेपी को डेवलप कर सकते हैं, जो उस हिसाब से उसका ट्रीटमेंट कर सकता है। तो जब आप आंसर लिखते हैं, व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग आंसर ऑफ एनी टॉपिक, तो फर्स्ट थिंग इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द टॉपिक, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट यू हैव टू यू नो मेंशन कि व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय प्रिसीजन मेडिसिन। लेट्स से क्वेश्चन कम्स इन द एग्जाम, राइट, एंड देन यू आर यू नो giving the examples, defining it, giving examples, right. Let's look at the model answer of this question which I said, but in your model answer you can highlight this thing which I'm now going to discuss. So what is the things here? See, look at here, this one, precision medicine definition. What is precision medicine? Precision medicine is an approach that tailors disease prevention, diagnosis and treatment to an individual based on genetic profile, environment and lifestyle. What I explained, diagnosis, detection, treatment of an individual based on its genetic aspect, environment and lifestyle, even the environmental factor. Nowadays, you know that lifestyle diseases like diabetes, right? Even cancer linked with lifestyle, right? Environmental factor, sometimes the environmental contaminant, pollutant affecting human health. So precision medicine is a very important area. So what it comes here, first is data collection. That means collect individual data, genomic study, DNA, RNA, clinical history, lifestyle, diet, environment, family history. Then what comes here? Data analysis integration, genomic sequencing and analysis, identify genetic variants, biomarker and risk factors. What are the risk factors? Then integrate with and eliminate lifestyle and environmental data. ये सब का काम करना होता है कि क्या जीनोमिक एनालिसिस करने के बाद, डीएनए सीक्वेंसिंग के बाद, कि उसमें क्या क्या रिस्क फैक्टर है, उसको आइडेंटिफाई करना, उसको पता करना, वो चीज को वहां पे डालना है ना, डेटा के तौर पे जो है. फिर रिस्क स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन इनसाइट, एसेस इंडिविजुअल डिजीज रिस्क, है ना, किसी इंडिविजुअल का क्या डिजीज रिस्क है उसको असेस करना, आइडेंटिफाई लाइकली डिजीज, है ना, क्या लाइकली डिजीज है उसको आइडेंटिफाई करना. कई बार हो सकता है कि वो डिजीज का पैथोजन पैथोजन के थ्रू हो सकता है, राइट, बैक्टीरिया, वायरस. तो क्या उसका लिंकेज है पैथोजन विद द होस्ट, दैट एनालिसिस वी कैन डू इट, राइट. प्रिडिक्ट ट्रीटमेंट, क्या ट्रीटमेंट होना चाहिए, एंड पर्सनलाइज इंटरवेंशन, इट्स बेस्ड ऑन द पर्सन, individual. So here personalized intervention, so where the target of the drug has to be given, what type of behavioral change has to be brought, what type of environmental change has to be brought, what type of diet change has to be brought, what type of lifestyle changes have to be brought. Then comes the intervention, right? And then finally comes what? Monitoring and follow up. After the personalized medicine or therapy treatment given, follow up, monitoring. Any disease treatment, follow up is required, right? So track treatment response, monitor disease progress, right, reassess the modify, and the better outcome, improve efficiency, fewer side effect, early detection, prevention, quality of life, right. It also reduces the healthcare cost. So what are the benefits of precision medicine? Is it minimizes the side effect. The person is able to get the precise treatment and recover fast. It also reduces the cost. Sometimes what happens when the general medicine comes, the different type of medicine therapy, it keeps on, the patient takes time to recover. But if you know the genetic makeup of the person and exact environment and other kind of conditions, and based on that we do the intervention, then the treatment to the person will be able to recover very fast, and it will also reduce the cost of medicine and the treatment and therapy. So that you can write as the benefits of precision medicine. But what is there is a futuristic. But I'll not say futuristic. Things have already started and lot of work being done. है ना, ये अब काम चालू हो चुका है, इसमें सारे चीज चल रहा है, चीज़ों पे काम हो रहा है और धीरे धीरे ये चीज़ें और बढ़ेगी. अभी हो सकता है पर्सनलाइज्ड मेडिसिन और प्रिसीजन मेडिसिन उतना ज़्यादा चर्चा में नहीं है, लेकिन आने वाले 10-20 सालों में इसके एप्लीकेशन ज़्यादा होंगे. And this will be your conclusion, which you can write as a conclusion there, right? So genomics and biobanks and all these things can come. इसमें bioinformatics can play a very important role in terms of computational biology, data part of that, right? So that's what I have explained here. Another topic for coming exam where you could get question here. Now moving on, vaccines and all things, you know that. So what you can do, whatever the new vaccines developed, like dengue, for dengue vaccine, India's dengue vaccine is developed. So that you prepare very well. See, during the COVID time pandemic in UPSC Mains exam, COVID-19 based vaccines, diagnosis that has been asked. ठीक है, mRNA vaccine and all, I have already covered in my previous video. But which are the latest vaccines right now making headline? You go through it. इसमें भी डेंगू का जो वैक्सीन अभी न्यूज़ में है इंडिया का, वो इंपॉर्टेंट है एग्जाम के लिए. तो दैट पार्ट यू हैव टू बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट. ठीक है, सो दैट व्हाट आई हैव मेंशन दैट. and genomes, genome part is there. अच्छा, 3-parent baby mitochondrial replacement therapy. Although it has been asked in prelims exam, लेकिन कई बार क्या होता है, prelims के टॉपिक को मेंस में पूछ लेते हैं. फर्स्ट टाइम UK 3-parents baby mitochondrial replacement therapy. What happened? That a mother's mitochondria defective mitochondria was replaced with a healthy mitochondria from a donor woman. It was approved by the UK government, right? So the donor woman's mitochondria, because mitochondria contains the gene and the DNA, right? That also regulate our physiology. So that replacement by pro-nuclear transfer technique और spindle transfer, ये मैं शुरुआत के वीडियो वाले सेशन में मैंने बताया भी है. यहाँ जस्ट मैं रिकैप कर रहा हूँ मैं. तो those who are now watching it, please go back to my earlier video. This part I have given here. So 3-parent baby जो है ये चीज, this is a summary part of it there. Mother's mitochondria replaced with healthy mitochondria from a donor. So UK becomes the first country in the world to have 3-parents baby, what is called MRT, mitochondrial replacement therapy. This part comes here. तो this part comes here, ठीक है. तो इसके एथिकल कंसर्न भी है ना, वो भी पूछा जा सकता है कि इसके एथिकल कंसर्न क्या है ना, हाउ वी कैन डू विद दैट. देन यू हैव स्टडीड इन योर क्लासरूम प्रोग्राम और बाय सेल्फ स्टडी cloning method, cloning technology like animal cloning, right? Human cloning is banned on ethical ground, but animal cloning, right? Garima is India's cloned buffalo. Dolly, Ian Wilmot, Dr. Ian Wilmot, first mammal to be cloned. So that part what you have read, studied in science and technology classes or science and technology book, just go through it once. उसको एक बार आप देख लीजिए. स्टेम सेल है ना, कुछ जो टॉपिक्स हैं जो मैं यहाँ बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि ये इसको एक बार आप रिव्यू कर लीजिए. लाइक क्लोनिंग है ना टॉपिक है. दूसरा जो आता है जीएम क्रॉप्स के बारे में, जीएमओस के बारे में, इस पे 250 वर्ड्स का भी वहाँ पर. अब क्रिस्पर कैसनाइन के आने के बाद तो ये चीज़ है. फिर यहाँ पर जो है स्टेम सेल की हम बात करें, स्टेम सेल थेरापी पे एक बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. अब इसमें एक नया एरिया है आईपीएससी, इंड्यूस्ड प्लूरिपोटेंट स्टेम सेल. Right, those who are writing the exam this year, you know that normal cell can be induced in the lab to become a pluripotent stem cell, similar to embryonic stem cell. Now, this was done by Dr. Shinya Yamanaka, a Japanese scientist who got Nobel Prize for this work. What is here? Normal cell, what you call somatic cell, let's say skin cell, genetically modified through Yamanaka factor, named after the Nobel Prize winning scientist, Japanese scientist Dr. Shinya Yamanaka. It converts into stem cell, let's say skin cell, modify into stem cell. What type of stem cell? Pluripotent, that is embryonic, during embryos, which has the potential to form any type of body cells. So here, pluripotent stem cell. And now from here, we can program to form retina cell, for eye treatment. We can make liver cell for liver transplant. We can make kidney. We can make muscle, whatever. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया है, आईपीएससी बोलते हैं, इंड्यूस्ड प्लूरिपोटेंट स्टेम सेल, कि हम नॉर्मल सेल को स्टेम सेल बना के फिर स्टेम सेल से कोई भी बॉडी सेल को बना सकते हैं. बिकॉज ये क्रैश कोर्स प्रोग्राम है, मेंस क्रैश कोर्स प्रोग्राम है, जहाँ मैं एरियाज को तो पूरा डिटेल में नहीं मैं जा सकता. हाँ, मैं हाईलाइट कर सकता हूँ कि ये सब एरियाज आपने साइंस टेक के प्रिपरेशन पढ़ा है, राइट. और बाद में हम लोग आईएएस भारत में इस तरह का साइंस टेक का कोर्स लॉन्च करेंगे जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगा एग्जाम्स के लिए, राइट. वी आर गोइंग टू लॉन्च सच साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी क्लासेस एंड ऑल विच विल बी वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द थ्योरेटिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. बट दोज ऑफ यू हैव नाउ गोइंग टू राइट द एग्जाम, so please do revise all this area. So this IPSC there, right? Cloning technology, right? All these areas which comes into there. Cloning, you know that the technique involved is SCNT, somatic cell nuclear transfer technique. So please make sure that you revise such kind of areas there, right? Which is there here. Then antimicrobial resistance, AMR, like superbug, drug resistant, multiple drug resistant microbes, Lancet journal and all this. Once it has come in the mains exam. Suppose you get question, antimicrobial resistance, AMR, has emerged as a major public health challenge. Even WHO has already flagged as going to be a global pandemic. Discuss its causes, how it is formed, and measures required to tackle it. है ना, कैसे इसका बनता है और क्या इसका मेजर होना चाहिए, है ना. इसका प्रीलिम्स में भी आ चुका है, मेंस में पहले आ चुका है. तो एक टॉपिक ये हो सकता है, AMR बायोटेक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू में. Suppose you get this question in the mains exam. Right? So, introduction. You define what is AMR. How do you define AMR? Pathogens like bacteria, virus, parasites, right? Which has become resistant to multiple drugs. Then these are those type of microbes, microorganism, which has acquired that potential to resist the effect of multiple type of medicines and drugs, particularly antibiotics. तो पहला पार्ट जो इंट्रोडक्शन में आता है, डेफिनेशन होता है. यू आर डिफाइनिंग व्हाट इज AMR, and then you are talking about superbug. You are giving example, Lancet Journal found in India superbug. Even it has given example, not a superbug, even NDMC, named after New Delhi, found in hospitals also there. Then this MDR TB, multi-drug resistance tuberculosis. Then MDR, multi-drug resistance malaria. Even now antibiotic resistance in human body, right? Antibiotic resistance, misuse of antibiotics. So your initial part should go into that. Then comes the body of the answer, causes. तो यह पहला part of the causes. So you will write causes of AMR point wise. Now you don't have to write a paragraph. Initially you start with a paragraph. So you will write that point wise. So what is here? First, misuse of antibiotics. Like you can give example here. See, whenever you're writing point, try to give examples. Try to pick up examples from current affairs and can give that. Like for example, misuse of antibiotics. You can give very good example, tuberculosis. Now you can give even that even hormones being used for animals, like antibiotics used for animal to growth of animals. Antibiotics being given, whether it's poultry or other type animals. And when you eat, this is going inside the body. Such examples, right? Then what comes here? Gap in therapy. Sometimes, let's say, in tuberculosis or something, the medicines, you have taken the medicines for 2 to 3 days and then you leave it. So by that time, what will happen? The pathogen, let's say, suppose TB bacteria, will acquire resistance against that medicine. It has happened in the past. And then again new antibiotic, again there's gap, after few days, again resistance acquired. Another one, again resistance, after gap, the bacteria evolved and get the resistance, part of that, right? So this part of there. Then again, as I said, lack of awareness, that is also there. Hygiene condition, Suppose when somebody is in hospital, go for a surgery, normal surgery, but all those instrument and other things in the hospital not properly and hygienic way kept. So the person may get after surgery such kind of a AMR. And what will happen? It is very deadly. That once you have AMR, then whatever existing medicines and drugs will not have any effect, and the person will not be able to respond to the medicine and will die. That's what WHO has flagged problem with the use of antibiotics. It has to be done only under the prescription of doctors or physicians. So what is second part of the body of the answer? After writing all this point wise, you can write about what? Measures. So when you talk about measures, again point wise, WHO guidelines, right, on AMR. Based on that, national government, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, so has also come out with the guidelines here. And this program, National Awareness Program, right? Then again, what is very important? Documentation of the cases. Monitoring, no? What is where is happening there of AMR cases there? All this could be measures what you can write there. Surveillance, what is something called surveillance system. Then again, what government has started? Government has red line, you see this red line on antibiotic medicine wrapper to make people aware that they are consuming antibiotics. Medicine wrappers or even vial will have red line will be there. Bottle, everything, cough syrup, whatever may be that. Then what comes here? Taking antibiotics. Prescribed by a doctor. Not off the shelf from pharmacy, one take and eat it. Ban of antibiotics in the use of animal in poultry farm and all this thing. And then you can conclude the answer that we cannot neglect this AMR because this is rising in India, right? So that's what called way forward. See here. So if you look at the model answer here, definition of AMR, right? Mentioned here, WHO. Then 4.95 million deaths globally in 2019 caused because of such AMR. So certain data, facts, you can mention in the answer there. Then causes irrational use of antibiotics, right? Antibiotic use in livestock and agriculture, like animal thing there. Poor infection prevention and control. There weak sanitation and hygiene condition. Hospitals and all this ICU. Environmental contamination. Like, such super bugs or such AMR found in the river, found in the soil. So again, there's a lack of new antibiotics, right? And then you have this one, that improve water and housing. These are the measures. Right, measures to tackle AMR. I'll just read it here. Strengthen antimicrobial stewardship. Promote rational antibiotic prescription. India's National Action Plan on AMR. India's National Action Plan on AMR 2017-2025. Adopt One Health approach. India's National One Health Mission. Enhance surveillance and monitoring. Whatever I have mentioned on the board is there in that model answer. Then ICMR's Indian Council of Medical Research AMR surveillance. Improve water sanitation, vaccination, WASH scheme, regulate antibiotic use in agriculture, India banned the use of colistin as a growth promoter in food producing animals in 2019, right? So then promote research and innovation. Challenges, what are challenges in India? High disease burden, you know that. Weak enforcement, that is another thing here. So that part you can mention there, this, right? Limited public awareness, resource constraints, implement National Action Plan 2.0 on AMR by the government, then expand One Health surveillance. These are all suggestions, way forward, right? Strengthen regulatory mechanism to enforce Schedule H1 drug, which are very important, which has to be prescribed and the use there. Provision regulate antibiotic cells, right? Invest in innovation, promote behavioral change. Conclusion there. The antibiotics are a gift. AMR is what happens when we misuse it. This way you can write the conclusion. The solution is simple. Use less, use wisely, and act together. The world has beaten bigger battles, but this one won't wait. Very good paragraph. That way you can write there. So again, global pandemics and all, you are aware of it, right? So this is where, biotechnology part comes into that. COVID-19, because now I don't think will part, but again now this could be another one. How can traditional systems of medicine complement modern healthcare? Because now government is promoting and now we have a separate Ministry of Ayush, right? So that part comes there. Okay, we can use modern medicine, but again, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy, they have a, behavioral aspect, lifestyle based, healthy life pattern. They work on that also there. So that can be, yoga is included in the India's National Program for Prevention and Control of NCD, supporting chronic disease management. Yoga is recommended, and now you know that 21st June worldwide it is celebrated as International Yoga Day, right? So that part comes here. So ये जो चीज़ है ना, जो यहाँ पर चीज़ें हैं योगा के बारे में, मेंटल वेलबींग के बारे में, आयुष सिस्टम जो काम कर रहा है, वहाँ क्वेश्चन आ सकता है एग्जाम में. तो वो पार्ट यहाँ पर है ना, जहाँ पर लोगों को अवेयर करना. और हम आज, पहले एक टाइम पे ऐसा था कि जहाँ हमारे देश में होम्योपैथी है ना, आयुर्वेद, ये साथ साथ और उसके यूज़ ज़्यादा होते थे बाद में. बस फिर क्या हुआ, over the last few decades it does just diminished, but again the government is promoting it for holistic well-being. That traditional medicine system is very important. So that you have to go through it, that you have to read and proper. मैं केवल आपको कुछ पॉइंट्स बता दे रहा हूँ ताकि आपको पता होना चाहिए. टीबी के बारे में मैंने बताया, right? I have already mentioned about TB thing here, right? Nikshay is the one of the program, TB Mukt Bharat. That program comes here, right? So this you need to be just read from wherever the current affairs material you have got. GMO I have already mentioned. What type of genetic modified part comes into that, right? Regenerative medicine, now biofortification of crops, regenerative medicine, stem cell. All these are biotech topics which you need to go through that, right? That is becomes a वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हियर, है ना. मलेरिया वैक्सीन पे काम चल रहा है, डेंगू वैक्सीन अब आ गया, न्यूक्लियर का मैंने ऑलरेडी आई हैव प्रोटोटाइप फास्ट ब्रेन रिएक्टर, है ना, विच हैज गॉन टू क्रिटिकलिटी, दैट आई हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड इन द सेशन. सो प्लीज go to my previous session which are already in the YouTube channel. There I have already mentioned about this prototype fast breeder reactor and the technology part of it, right? That what I have given here. Now I will bring about certain areas which you need to again prepare well for the coming exam. That is from emerging technology. For this year exam, one is a quantum technology. ये भी मैंने टच किया है पिछले वीडियोस में. And in this context, quantum computer and quantum communication there. Qubits, quantum bits of information. Then quantum, I have also discussed about the Nobel Prize, quantum tunneling and all this. Quantum communication. And you know that China has done this. Even ISRO has tested there. And then I have quantum cryptography, है ना, encryption of data. Now in this context, you know that one of the very important things come into material science. Again, nanotechnology can play a very important role. And in this context, National Quantum Mission, मैंने क्लास में बताया भी था, अमरावती in Andhra Pradesh, this Quantum Valley has been National Quantum Mission of central government. 6,003 crore budget has been given in this mission there. T-Hub, thematic hubs, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, है ना, क्वांटम मटेरियल, क्वांटम कम्युनिकेशन, क्वांटम कंप्यूटर, क्वांटम क्रिप्टोग्राफी, इस पे काम चल रहा है. तो दिस टॉपिक इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड, रोबोटिक्स. क्योंकि आपको पता है कि जब AI इम्पैक्ट समिट भारत मंडपम दिल्ली में हुआ था, तो उस समय गलगोटिया यूनिवर्सिटी काफ़ी न्यूज़ में था. और रोबो डॉग, जैसे उन्होंने क्लेम किया था कि हम हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज के बनाए गए हैं, जबकि वो चाइना का रोबो डॉग था. चाइना में रोबो वुल्फ बन चुका है. चाइना हैज़ गॉन वेरी एग्रेसिवली इन द फील्ड ऑफ रोबोटिक्स. आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस अबाउट ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी, बट नाउ दिस रोबोटिक्स हियर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड पर्टिकुलर ह्यूमनॉइड रोबोट जो होता है, right? And you know Sophia as example. But besides Sophia, many such humanoid robots have been brought. Even India maybe develop किया गया Mitra, right? Other robots which have come up there. So future technology which has, and you know robotics have a lot of application. इसका positive भी है, negative भी है. Industrial application, medical application, hazardous occupation, space exploration, like you know rover, Chandrayaan 3 mission, Vikram lander and Pragyan rover, right? Then defense, like you know military robots, right? Border area surveillance, disaster management, search and rescue operation, relief operation, multiple application of robotics, right? But what a negative thing? Costly, expensive. There might be error, sometimes accidents caused by robots. Now you know unemployment, where manual work will be replaced by machines. Now that part can be there. Apart from that, you know that ethical issues. But India is now expanding into the field of robotics. तो वो पार्ट भी लिखना है ना. रोबोटिक्स का जो इंडिया में काम हो रहा है, काफ़ी बड़े लेवल पे काम हो रहा है. फिर यहाँ आता है AI. लगातार यूपीएससी मेंस एग्जाम में AI पे क्वेश्चन आ रहा है. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, LLM, लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल, डीप लर्निंग, मशीन लर्निंग, एंड हेल्थ केयर पे क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, एग्रीकल्चर. तो जो जो AI का डेफिनेशन है ना, आप प्रिपेयर कर रखो. क्या क्या उसका डेफिनेशन लिखना है इंट्रोडक्शन में. व्हाट इज AI, है ना, डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स ऑफ AI, जनरेटिव, प्रेडिक्टिव AI, कहाँ कहाँ इसका एप्लीकेशंस है हर फील्ड में, एग्रीकल्चर, स्पेस, डिफेंस, बायोटेक, हेल्थ, राइट, नॉर्मल एजुकेशन फील्ड में, जो जो फील्ड है इंडिया में क्या क्या हुआ उसका एग्जाम्पल्स. एंड देन व्हाट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, इसका भी जो नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट है, you know, human brain mimicked by AI. So it is impacting across the sector job loss, right, with the AI. तो वो सबको हाईलाइट करना है ना. How it will impact our behavior, our learning process, our cognitive ability because of the use of AI. Then mention about AI summit 4 times. India hosted AI Impact Summit in January. What are the themes are there? You know, now we are talking about global AI framework, architecture, AI regulation. ठीक है, तो ये सब चीजों को पढ़ना है क्योंकि उस पर बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. यू वुड गेट क्वेश्चन देयर, राइट. देन अनदर एरिया कुड बी बिग डेटा, डेटा एनालिसिस एंड डेटा साइंस, डेटा मैनेजमेंट, बिग डेटा एनालिसिस, राइट. देन अनदर अपकमिंग एरिया, Department of Science and Technology already given budget for big data. And again, big data will find application everywhere. What is big data? Where large volume of data, which normal computers cannot store and handle, right? Here, supercomputer, other kind of systems we can use for storage, processing, analysis, and giving us outcomes very fast, right? So that's where the big data comes into that. Again, multiple application, e-commerce, companies using big data, analysis, space, then industries, right? Transport, agriculture, environment, mathematics, advanced mathematics with the AI, software programming, big data. So big data and AI, they are complementing each other. So जो भी आपके पास डॉक्यूमेंट है या जो भी मैगजीन है, जो भी आप करंट अफेयर्स का कर रहे हो मेंस के लिए, इस बार का जो मेंस एग्जाम है ना, पर्टिकुलरली उनके लिए जो इस बार मेंस एग्जाम देंगे, तो वो उसको पूरा थॉरोली पढ़ना है. क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड देयर, दैट यू हैव टू डू इट थॉरोली, because there the questions will be asked. Since mains is just around the corner, I could have given you every aspect on that, but thing is that now you are most on the self-study mode. So that's what I'm highlighting, the topic which you need to do it thoroughly, right? So big data analysis, that could be part of the question, right? So this all nuclear and all which we have covered, part of it. Now the last part of it which I want to like to add here, that quantum chip and all, I already mentioned that. AI part of, already have done that, right? Then you know LED, quantum LED, blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, right? First time Bitcoin using blockchain technology, but now blockchain technology, like you know, series of, chain of encrypted blocks which contain data, information, smart contract, right? What we call digital ledger, which is stored decentralized servers, which cannot be tampered, which cannot be hacked, cyber proof, used in cryptocurrencies. Now it has a multiple application, different areas. We can keep records like maybe land records, property records, voter ID records, right? Any kind of documents of companies can be stored in blockchain technology, right? So multiple use of blockchain technology. So please go to that. This is where a blockchain technology, cryptography, distributed ledger technology, centralized database. So even blockchain also uses distributed decentralized system, right? But if you compare your distributed ledger technology here, ledger and technology, the control was shared among network participants. That is comes. Centralized database में क्या होता है? Is controlled by one single admin. Blockchain is based on what? Blockchain is based on distributed ledger technology. Is owned by a network of people, not controlled by a network of people, not one single person. Again, data storage. So they are put in several servers, replicated across multiple nodes. Whereas a normal type of data storage is centralized. That is stored on a central server, which can be hacked, cyber security threat. But here, replicated across multiple nodes. Then validation, consensus mechanism. In blockchain, if you have to validate something, you need consensus of the network of the persons who are the part of the network. It uses P2P, peer-to-peer network. Validation required for consensus. But here, central authority validate in a centralized kind of data, right? Then trust model. In case of blockchain, trust established through cryptography and consensus. That way it cannot be hacked easily, changed easily. But normal centralized kind of thing, there trust is placed in central administrator. Then coming record modification, tamper evident after validation. It can only be changed after validation, and that is by peer-to-peer network, by consensus of everyone in the network. Then only it get validated, any modification. Otherwise cannot be modified. This is the advantage of blockchain. Like authorizing ability high due to distance, They're distributed copies. Anybody can see it, anybody can verify blockchain data, but cannot tamper it, cannot modify it. Then again, failure is no single point of failure remains there. Transfer is shared with visibility among permitted participants. Right, Hyperledger, Fabric, Coda, Ethereum, all these are using, even Bitcoin, all they are using this distributed ledger technology, which is based on blockchain. So please read this topic of blockchain also there. Another highlighted topic, right, where question can be asked in the mains exam. You know, there you can get the question there, what I have explained here. Okay? So this is what you have here as part of it there. Then उसका इम्पोर्टेंस क्या हो सकता है, क्या चीज़ें, ये सारे चीज़ें यहाँ पर आप जो भी आपके पास सोर्स है आप वहाँ से पढ़ सकते हो आप. ठीक है. So quantum technology, I mentioned the quantum key distribution. Then Google has developed below quantum chip. Microsoft has developed Majorana 1, right? Even in India, quantum technology development, quantum chip being worked out. DRDO has developed 6-qubit quantum computer, right? All those examples. NASA quantum mission, 6,003 crore budget. ISRO is using that. ठीक है, तो ये चीज़ आपको पढ़ना है, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है एग्जाम के लिए, है ना. Then supercomputer, I have already covered in the class. NASA supercomputing mission, Param supercomputers, Param Shakti, and now we are doing for the AI research, right? Param Siddhi AI, Airavat. तो वो पार्ट को करना है, ठीक है. So I'm writing here. Sixth thing is the not a quantum but also supercomputing जो है. Supercomputer development in India. ठीक है. Now coming to this NASA supercomputing mission we have, where we are under NASA supercomputing mission, this one, all this national mission, national AI mission, national quantum mission, national supercomputing mission, all these missions are very important. Even you don't get direct question, but when you are writing answer in those technology area, you can give reference and mention something about the missions. मतलब कहने का मतलब है कि डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन नहीं आ सकता है कि आपसे नासा सुपर कंप्यूटिंग मिशन पूछे या एआई मिशन पूछे, बट लेकिन आप जब एआई लिख रहे हो, सुपर कंप्यूटर्स लिख रहे हो या क्वांटम को लिख रहे हो, तो आप ऐसे मिशंस के बारे में कुछ पॉइंट आप जरूर हाईलाइट करना, तब आपको मार्क्स मिलेंगे, एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स यू विल गेट. सुपर कंप्यूटिंग मिशन, तो व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, वी आर डेवलपिंग सुपर कंप्यूटिंग ग्रिड एट द नेशनल लेवल by joining more than 70 supercomputing facilities through fiber. It's a very ambitious project. DST, Department of Science and Technology, and Department of Electronics and Information Technology. That is what it's doing there, है ना. So ये बहुत important है, जहाँ पर national level पे hub and spoke model पे super computing grid को high speed, high powered ग्रिड को हम डेवलप कर रहे हैं. ये मैं पढ़ाता हूँ जब मैं साइंस टेक का बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट सिलेबस जब मैं कवर करता हूँ, तो ये सारे एरियाज का डिस्कशन होता है. तो देखो आप, क्योंकि आप लोग मेंस देने वाले हो, तो जब आप मेंस आप देने वाले हो तो मेंस एग्जाम के लिए आपकी तैयारी ऑलरेडी हो चुकी है. आप केवल जो है वहाँ पर जो आपको है रिवाइज करना है. आपने जहाँ से भी तैयारी किया होगा, जो बुक भी पढ़ा होगा, कोचिंग किया होगा या सेल्फ स्टडी किया होगा, ये सारी चीज़ें होती हैं. क्योंकि ये क्या है, अभी मेंस का क्रैश कोर्स टारगेटेड चीज़ें तो मैं हाईलाइट कर रहा हूँ चीज़ों को. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. दिस आर द सम ऑफ द ग्रे एरिया, सम ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स विच यू कैन नॉट मिस आउट, एंड यू हैव टू रिवाइज एंड कम टू द एग्जाम हॉल विद सम करंट टॉपिक्स लिंक्ड विद दैट. सो NASA super grid we are constructing, right, which will power research organizations. It will generate employment and collaboration research. Then it will get connected later on with National Knowledge Network, NKN, which is already a grid of universities, academic centers, labs, ISRO centers, DRDO, BARC. That will get connected with this grid of supercomputers. more than 70 supercomputers being joined together. तो ये सब पढ़ना है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है. दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ईयर. परम प्रवेगा इन IISc बैंगलोर, वी आर वर्किंग ऑन दैट, ठीक है. IIT पटना में वहाँ परम बुद्धा बनाया गया, SpaDeX पटना में बनाया SpaDeX के द्वारा, ठीक है. एज कंप्यूटिंग, नाउ क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग, एज कंप्यूटिंग. See, now where we do the backup, cloud computing. We are backing in the cloud, which is somewhere far away, right? But imagine we need access to the data immediately. पहले के ज़माने में सर्वर हुआ करते थे, अब हम लोग बात करें एज. So let's say this is the main cloud where all our data is being backed up. Everything get backed up, right? Now what is the thing here? There will be edge computing. You can say this edge computing will be a mini cloud. It's just like a mini cloud. So first the data is going to this mini cloud. So that will be near to us, a small system like a server. Not all data will go to the main cloud, right? So now what is the advantage here? Sometime internet problem, network problem. We are not able to access the data from the cloud. So edge will provide the data. It will become very, very fast. Very, very fast data access. In absence of edge, we have to totally depend on the cloud. And if there is some issue with the network, we won't be able to access the data, use the data. But edge will minimize that. We will be able to access the data from the edge and work upon it. So this will make our workflow faster. Right? Sometime, let's say emergency, something sensor, in the future IoT, what is something called Internet of Things, where the devices are connected with each other and communicate there. So let's say there, this edge computing will play a significant role, will enable the IoT of the devices there. And all those, data of the devices will be in the edge. Sensor-based technology, sensors, industrial sensors, let's say fire or any kind of chemical storage, if something leakage. So sensor. So if this is working with the main cloud, if something is not happening, the warning cannot be given, alarm cannot be there. But suppose that sensor where the toxic chemical, and if there is any leakage, sensor is communicating with the edge mini cloud. So immediately the data can be passed and the alarm can ring. Right? So it has many important applications. So please read about edge computing, because cloud computing So one area of question can be edge computing. And the application part is very, very important. Correct? तो ये चीज़ को पढ़ के जाना है. एज कंप्यूटिंग का जो मैंने अभी बताया है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और इसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप IoT भी पढ़ लीजिए. Just go to and read about Internet of Things. Where the devices and a 6G, now 5G and then the 6G. Devices connected to each other and then communication, exchange of data. With the advanced broadband like 5G and 6G and at the same time, powerful, important, high-end advanced sensors. And now with the edge computing, data can be backed up and processed fast. This is going to be the next big thing. Going to be what? Next big thing. Things have already started. IoT, industrial IoT, right? Smart home, smart building, smart transport system, smart energy management, grid for power generation, electricity supply. All this IoT will be the very important. So please read and revise that. Okay? What do you have here? जितने भी सीसीटीवी कैमराज हैं उसके बैकअप ये सब एज प्रोसेस करेगा. ठीक है, दिस व्हाट आई हैव डिस्कस्ड. IoT infrastructure will be there. Quantum tunneling, I have already discussed that Nobel Prize was given last year to Nobel laureate for quantum tunneling. Right, it can cross the energy barrier there. ठीक है, तो ये चीज़ को पूरा करना है. ये सारे जो टॉपिक्स मैं हाईलाइट कर रहा हूँ, राइट, न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी का एप्लीकेशन जो है हेल्थ केयर के लिए, राइट, हेल्थ केयर, डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम्स, कैंसर ट्रीटमेंट, न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी, जो कीमोथेरेपी, कोबाल्ट 60 रेडियो आइसोटोप्स, ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग देयर, गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम्स एंड ऑल दिस, राइट, वो सब बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है यहाँ पर, है ना. स्पेस का तो मैंने बता ही दिया सारा चीज़. ठीक है, फिर डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, दैट इज अ साइबर सिक्योरिटी पार्ट ऑफ इट, राइट. डिजिटली वी हैव टू बी वेरी सिक्योर्ड एंड वी नीड आवर digital infrastructure to be very robust, because India is at high impact of cyber security, all those things, right? And then one more thing which I would like to add here, IPR, intellectual property right. इसमें दो तरह के क्वेश्चन जो आपको तैयार करके जाना है. IPR का क्वेश्चन आता है तो अभी क्योंकि गैप और 2 से 3 साल में क्वेश्चन आ जाता है, राइट, गैप और 2 to 3 years. First thing here, in the IPR topic, basic concepts of industrial property like patent, industrial design, trademark, service mark, geographical indication, right, वो सब पढ़ना है. फिर नेशनल जो IPR पॉलिसी है, गवर्नमेंट इज प्रमोटिंग IPR, innovation. We are more focusing on the innovation part. We are going for more number of filing of patents, right? And now with the India Semicon mission, semiconductor mission, so semiconductor design, fabrication, that getting registered, right? The IC layout, semiconductor IC layout, design rights, all this will become the part of it. ठीक है, so वो चीज़ है. फिर then थर्ड थिंग यहाँ पर है, जैसे प्लांट वैरायटीज, प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ प्लांट वैरायटीज एंड ब्रीडर्स राइट एक्ट, राइट, PPV-FRA 2001. वी हैव ऑलरेडी ब्रॉट ए लॉ. एंड एक बार आपको पता है गुजरात में फार्मर्स का पेप्सी कंपनी के साथ हुआ है, अंकल चिप्स का जो इशू हुआ था. Uncle chip, that particular one potato chip owned by Pepsi company, and then Gujarat farmers, they were prohibited from the use. तो plant varieties and breeders जो है protection. This is some emerging area. Then biopiracy, traditional knowledge need to be protected. Already now Government of India CSIR has come out with TKDL, traditional knowledge digital library, database documentation of all such our traditional medicine system. So which has been like, neem patent, haldi patent, turmeric patent, basmati patent. So others cannot do the biopiracy. What is biopiracy? Getting patent over the traditional knowledge of India. So patent offices get access. Recently, Australian government, other governments, we are trying to give them, so that in the TKDL database by CSIR, traditional knowledge digital library, if anybody outside India try to get from that, then the patent examiner will find that it is already existing in use in India. So this all things. Law, what is very important? Law, Patent Act 1971, Copyright Act, GI Act, geographical indication, very important for the exam, which mentions source of that products from a particular geographical area. So that kind of thing there, है ना. ट्रेडमार्क, ये सबको पढ़ना है. दोनों इनके बीच में अंतर क्या है? आपके पास जो भी स्टडी मटेरियल्स हैं, आप एक बार जरूर उसको रिव्यू कीजिए. क्या क्या एक्ट है, क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजंस हैं. अब जैसे यहाँ पर कंपल्सरी लाइसेंस अंडर पेटेंट एक्ट है ना, गिवन टू कंपनीज, उसमें जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट आया था नेटको फार्मा, है ना, नेटको फार्मा का नेक्सावॉर और ड्रग, cancer drug, right? Netco Pharma was given by Indian Patent Office to make its a generic version and sell in the market. तो कंपल्सरी लाइसेंस इश्यूज. क्लीवैक का हुआ था एवरग्रीनिंग ऑफ पेटेंट, वेयर द कंपनी आफ्टर एक्सपायरी ऑफ द पेटेंट 20 years के लिए पेटेंट मिलता है. बिफोर दैट दे वांट टू गेट अनदर पेटेंट सो दैट दे मेंटेन देयर मोनोपोली इन द मार्केट. ठीक है, ग्लीवैक का केस, नोवाटिस का, ये सारा चीज को एक बार पढ़ना है. इमर्जिंग एरियाज जो उसमें आ रहे हैं, ठीक है, दैट कुड बी द पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन देयर, राइट. एक और टेक्नोलॉजी जो इमर्जिंग आता है, आपको पता है AR VR, ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी, देन वर्चुअल रियलिटी. ये पीटी में आ चुका है, प्रीलिम्स एग्जाम में आ चुका है. ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी क्या है? जहां हम किसी ऐप के थ्रू, कंप्यूटर मोबाइल के थ्रू ऑगमेंट करते हैं कोई भी विजुअल, कोई भी इमेज. अभी से गूगल आई वगैरह सब आ चुका है. इट मीन सुपर इम्पोज इन द विजन. नाउ इट इज न्यूज चैनल, टीवी चैनल, द थिंग्स कम्स अप, राइट. दैट इज ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी. एंड विद द यूज ऑफ AI इट हैज बिकम मोर स्मार्टर, बेटर. VR क्या है? वेर यू हैव अ VR सेट, लाइक यू नो दैट Sony PlayStation, video gaming. So when we wear this device, so what happened? We physically we are here, but we get transposed to some virtual world. That is called virtual reality. And now what is emerging here? XR, extended reality. What is extended reality? Is a MR, mixed reality, which combined AR and VR together. The person use the kind of VR set will be able to see the things in a virtual scenario, but will also be able to work it. So this can be used for training purpose. है ना, extended reality. इसका बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है मेटावर्स. मेटावर्स, फेसबुक, मार्क जकरबर्ग. What is extended reality? You mixed of both AR and VR. So what happened? The person using the device to which virtually bring the things there, maybe a machine or something, can see the everything and can work on it. So it is a mix of augmented plus virtual. So training of doctors, training of pilot, training of engineers, all this can be done with XR. ठीक है. Education में children, students in the colleges, universities, practical labs, lab work, that can be done through XR, right. Tourism, there we can do for that. So that is a futuristic technology, right. That what comes here. So please go through it. ये भी important हो सकता है exam के लिए, and there you can get the question in the exam. That's what I have highlighted the topic here, right, which you need to read. Now, as I said, video gaming, orange economy, GIS technology. Few more things which I would like to add, like topics to be prepared. Like here, orange economy, because budget, right? Finance Minister Sitaraman, she announced that gaming industry, because that is increasing in our country, right. Then high speed rail, bullet train. Again in the budget, remember that budget has lot of areas of science and technology linked this time, right. Rail network there, right. Varanasi to Patna to Siliguri, that's announced. And already in Ahmedabad to Mumbai bullet train, that project is ongoing there. ठीक है. Then this one, green hydrogen powered train. Now PM has announced, we have a national green hydrogen mission, right. And so all these missions are very, very important. कितना बजट है, क्या क्या इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव है, क्या वो सारी चीजें. हाइड्रोजन पावर ट्रेन, जिंद टू सोनीपत. प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया है ना, हैज inaugurated this hydrogen powered locomotive, powerful train engine running on hydrogen. So hydrogen is the future. Energy security, electric vehicles, see EV, but hydrogen powered bus and all those things, vehicles are making the news there. Then I would also like to highlight not only hydrogen thing, right? Use of nuclear technology in propulsion system like submarines, INS Arihant. I have already discussed Scorpion, that is a diesel powered, that is a fast attack submarine from France. We have a joint mission, Project 75I. But now, India's indigenous INS Arihant. Now, recently, that Aridman, INS Aridman, the nuclear powered submarine carrying a submarine launched ballistic missile, nuclear tipped missile, what is called SSBN, ship submersible ballistic nuclear, which can easily destroy enemy targets. Plus, what is very important, India's nuclear doctrine, no first use, plus minimum credible deterrence, plus second strike capability. तो वो पढ़ के जाना है, वहाँ क्वेश्चन आ सकता है ना? The question can be asked in that area there. Nuclear, propulsion. Not only Arihant, but spacecraft. Let's say satellite spacecraft, rover on Mars, propelled by such a nuclear radioisotope, nuclear reactor. That can be a part of the thing there. All those emerging technology, right? Flying cars, right? Now that in Bangalore, flying taxi, which can take the passenger from to the airport. All these futuristic thing, flying vehicles, they become important for the exam, right? So I'm just trying to provide you that now time is less, so please make sure that you are able to go through all such areas, right? Modernization of railways, Kavach, Kavach system. NISAR, I have already mentioned that NISAR system, right? NISAR system, I have already mentioned that. NASA ISRO synthetic aperture. So what I want to say, current affairs magazine, whatever current affairs magazine you have, do it thoroughly. So here I will end my session, and I expect that whatever I have mentioned, right, from the exam point of view, go through those topics. There are topics which I have explained orally or some written part. In my previous videos, I have used PPT to also give you certain things. तो जो चीज़ें मैंने बताया पहले के सेशन में और आज का जो सेशन है और जो टॉपिक्स मैंने हाईलाइट किया है, आपके पास जो भी मटेरियल है, जो लोग इस बार मेंस एग्जाम दे रहे हैं, प्लीज़ अच्छे से पढ़ के जाइए. मैंने अप्रोच बताया कैसे GS3 पेपर का साइंस टेक करना है. नाउ व्हाट इज अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग which I wanted to highlight here, that those of you who are going to appear next year, right, and in science and technology, and who have read syllabus but not very confident, or those you want to cover the syllabus proper way, so we will be helping you in that way. तो टेंशन नहीं लेना है. आने वाले समय में जो भी बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट है, सिलेबस का पार्ट है, साइंस टेक का वगैरह, वो सब भी कवर होंगे. तो हम लोग हर तरह से हेल्प कर रहे हैं ये, क्योंकि ये यूपीएससी का इस बार का मेंस क्रैश कोर्स का पार्ट प्रोग्राम हम लोग अभी यूट्यूब में डाल रहे हैं और एक एक चीज़ों को डाल रहे हैं, इन्फॉर्मेशन को दे रहे हैं, बता रहे हैं. एक हमारा प्रयास है, IAS भारत का एक प्रयास है कि जो लोग इस बार मेंस लिख रहे हैं उनको थोड़ा सपोर्ट मिले. तो दिस काइंड ऑफ अ हम्बल एफर्ट फ्रॉम आवर साइड एज IAS भारत. We're trying for all the aspirants who are writing the mains exam. But we will be coming out with a lot of content which will really help you understand the basic things in science and technology. So I thank all of you and I wish you all the best to those students who are writing the exam this year. Don't panic and be cool and calm, right? And give your best, do or die like kind of thing. और एक और चीज़ मैं इसके साथ एंड करूँगा, अगर आपका हौसला है तो कोई भी चीज़ मुमकिन है, और आपको एक गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला है इस बार के मेंस के लिए, आप उसको गवाओ मत. समय के साथ आप दिन रात मेहनत कर लो और अच्छे से मेंस दे दो, फिर इंटरव्यू, फिर रैंक, फिर लाइफ, आपका लाइफ सेट है. सो ऑल ऑफ यू डोंट पैनिक, try to do best as much you can do, give your all efforts nowadays. So I am here ending the SNT, science and technology topic there. Now anything query, you can go down to our link. There's also a form you can fill up, and 120 plus books for 100 aspirant free with the courier charge is available. Please DM us. So myself, Neeraj Nachiketa. So I thank all of you for watching all these videos. I will come again. Thank you.